Okay, I didn't want to, you guys, I didn't want to snap a can in you guys' ears. I know a lot of people wear those headphones and man, but I'll click my lighter. All right, I'll click my lighter. Hey Charlie, how you doing, sweetie? Anyway, Carmen, how you doing? Good to see you. All purple hearts for summer. God bless. That is beautiful. She said headphones. Yeah, absolutely. All right. I wanted to come in because uh, Andy Bernard, he's got a lot of explaining to do, right? Andy Bernard's got a lot of explaining to do. What I ain't understanding is, he tells us about how he had this. He woke up, right? He woke up. First, it's supposed to be a dream. And then he says it wasn't a dream, that, he got pulled out of his sleep by the funeral music across the road and, and somebody over there being buried and all of this stuff. He's changed his story. He's changed his story quite a few times. He's changed up, kind of like Jody Sue, right? A whole lot like Jody Sue. And yeah, I'm going to tell you, Andy and Jody Sue, um, I'm going to tell you, if I was a bitten person, okay, I guess I am. Right? But if I was going to bet on this particular case, as far as Jody Sue and Andy having all details to what happened to Summer, um, I'd bet 10 to 1 they do. That's just me. That's my money would be on, yeah, they know. Um, my money would also be on, yeah, somehow they're tied up in this, right? That's my opinion. Um, I very much believe that these people, are like all one, as in, criminal minded, working together. They had some type of operation going. That's my opinion. These people, had some type of operation going up there, where all of them, was making money. They was making money by, you know, um, supplying something. I think each one was supplying something. And I'm not so, I'm gonna bring some things to the light tonight. There's gonna be some things brought to the light tonight. Right here, Andy Bernard says, um, or Piper says, Miss Donna, the neighbor, Andy, took me to where he believes Summer is buried. I have marked on a map and pics of the site on my community tab. And she says, just in case it would help at all, you mentioned funeral home, and it's relevant to what the neighbors told me. Okay. And this is, comes from CSI Piper. Um, so this particular lady, everybody said she was, having an affair with Andy. I'm hearing she didn't have no affair with Andy. I'm hearing that, she was just trying to get some information, and, was down there, had met up with him, and talked with him. And I mean, I'm not saying, that he probably, wasn't trying to put that into the works. But it sounds like she wasn't having it. She was just, trying to get information for Summer. I don't know. I don't know this Piper person. To be honest with you, the only way I know the other YouTubers is if, they're coming at me sideways, or at some point did come at me sideways. And that's that's the only way I know the ones that I know right now. And then a few that I really liked, like Molly Golightly. She didn't ever come at me at all or anything like that. She's a really nice lady. And I didn't ever hear really say nothing bad about me. So, and Bullhorn Betty, I know a lot of people, have mixed emotions over Bullhorn Betty. And I guess at certain times I did as well, but for the most part, I really liked Bullhorn Betty. She really, when it came to Quentin Simon's case, man, I'm going to tell you what, she was right on top of it. Sebastian Rogers, she was right on top of it. She even put boots in the ground for Summer. She's been a real advocate for these missing kids. And, and she has her own style. She has her own way and her own style going about it. And, God bless her. God bless her. But, at the end of the day, I think she's, I think that her main goal is, these children, and to bring them home and to get justice for them, do what's righteous in the sight of God for the missing children. I haven't ever seen Bullhorn Betty cuddling no suspects ever, so I did like her. And as far as I know, she didn't ever come at me in any way, form, or how. And I like, JLR. I love that guy. I absolutely love that guy. He is hilarious. Some of the things he does is absolutely hilarious. And I like Dolly. I like Dolly as well. I ain't got nothing, I ain't got nothing against Dolly or the girl he's dating. The girl he's dating seems to be a really nice person as well. So, and Justin, you guys know I love him. I adore that. I adore Justin. So, but I don't know this Piper person. I can't say I do. So I don't know, the truth about whether, Andy and her, everybody tried to tell me they had a thing going, but it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like it. So I don't know. I don't know. Hey, absolutely. I love Justin. Matter of fact, he was covering up Summer's case tonight. I got to stop in, just for a second. I'm very busy, but I got to stop in for a second and and I was rooting him on. I was cheering him. I heard him talking about, Don and Candace and what they truly are. And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Amen. You tell him, brother, you tell him. And he was right on the money with that. Absolutely. What little bit I got to hear, it was like, yes, definitely. But this particular lady says that, Andy takes her to a graveyard. Now, we got Andy saying, he had a dream of a graveyard. He's supposed to have a dream of seeing Summer's online body. First he said that Jody Sue was just, out of her, was cray-cray and in his opinion, and that she just wanted to cause him a lot of problems, and she was telling lies and saying stuff, and that wasn't no truth to it. And because I went and got on him, remember? I went and got on him and called him out. And he was saying all this stuff. And then he comes back and says it was a dream, like Don Wells, right? That's So Raven moments and dreams, and so forth. I think they find it like an inside joke. They find it funny or something. And I'm going to tell you, when it comes to a missing little girl's case, an innocent 5-year-old child, that there's nothing funny about it. Nothing funny at all. Matter of fact, it just goes to show you how sinister and really evil they are when they can do this in a 5-year-old innocent missing little girl's case. When they have, no remorse, no mercy, no kindness, no love, no anything for this little child. You got to be a special kind of evil, not to want to help a missing little child. And you've got to be a different type of, real evil if you have a hand in a child going missing like that. If you had a hand in anything to hurt a child, you're a super special kind of evil. So, and it sounds like these people, are, in my opinion, they, it definitely sounds like they're that super special kind of evil. Because I don't find anything funny, about saying, I had a dream, we know where that came from. And, I had a vision. We know where that came from too. So, it's just like they get off on playing games, right? And that's just sick. That's sick, to be honest. But he said, that it was a dream. And then all of a sudden, the gravesite, he says, was a dream as well. And then he's like, no, comes back and he says, no, I was woken out of my sleep by funeral music, and they're having a burial across the road. And, and that's, when I started to, believe that that's where Summer was, and so forth and so on. So, you can't trust or believe them at all, to be honest with you. When it comes to, how they know. But, I do believe they know. And I think that, Jody Sue, is one of those people, the only time she really, starts to turn her life towards God is when,
yeah, I know
things ain't going really good with her, and and she, is really bad off, maybe, thinking she's going to meet her maker or something. Then she gets, pray for me and all of this godly stuff. But as long as she's over there, filling top of the bucket and feels like she ain't having no complications or issues or anything, she's like, don't even think about God, and just spreading horrible, ugly, terrible, sinister stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. And then she throws in a little truth here and there, and she tries to retract that as well, right? She tries to retract that as well, and hold on to, I don't think they want Summer's case solved, because I think if Summer's case is solved, they're all afraid that they're going to, go down creek with everybody else surrounding this case as well. But I think Andy is a little bit worried. I think he's a little worried about his soul and where his soul might end up at. I mean, that's my opinion. I think he worries more than Jody Sue, is what I'm saying. And I think at a certain time, Andy did want little Summer found. I think I think Andy, you know, sometimes he wants to change his life, sometimes he don't. That's, you know, that's my opinion. Sometimes he wants to get on the right road. And I think he worries about, you know, if he's going to get into that pearly gate or he's not. And I think what I'm saying is I think Andy is capable, is very capable of feeling guilt. You guys gotta bear with me. I've been dealing with this cold, and I'm telling you, it's like everybody around me, I don't know where this shit comes from, but everybody I've met's like, oh my gosh, you got that cold too, and they got it, right? They got it as well. And I'm like, I don't even know where this stuff came from, but it seems like it's running rampant. I don't know if any of you um have got that freaking cough. Is worse at night. It's worse at nighttime than it is during the day, but it is absolutely not, you know, it's not good. It's not real bad. I mean, it don't, you know, it don't stop you from working or doing stuff, you know, but just enough to irritate the hell out of you. Um, you know what, Amanda? I don't know what you say. I have no idea what you would say. I just wouldn't want to, you know, I wouldn't want to be in those boots because, you know, God's going to show you. He's going to show you your part in it all, right? He's going to show you your part. If you do evil, you know, do you think that we're the only ones that have movie screens? Absolutely not. The only difference is God don't need a projector. All right, he don't need a projector. He's that big movie screen is going to pop up, and you're going to see, you know, all the evil you done and didn't get forgiven for. You're going to see, you know, your hand in all of that evilness. You know, I don't think you want to ask God, why am I, you know, Lord, why can't I get in heaven? I think you already know if you know, if you've done really sinister stuff. I think you already know. And you didn't repent, you didn't get righteous, you didn't, you know, confess. You didn't confess and, you know, try to make it right. Um, I don't know. That's, you know, that's not, I wouldn't want to, you know, have none of that on me, right? But, you know, Andy says he had, you know, had this dreams, and then he says no, it was real. And, you know, we don't know what to believe as far as how he knows over there that she's in that grave, but I'm pretty sure he does. And not only that, but you guys know that, you know, um, that we went up there, and you guys know that my friend got out of the vehicle and that grave was camouflaged. It was hidden. It was absolutely covered over, you know, completely covered over, as if they didn't want it to be found. And you know, that's that was insane as well, right? That was insane as well. So why are they trying, you know, why are they trying to hide this particular grave? Now, we got Andy at the beginning, you know, within the week of Summer coming up missing. We've got Andy already, you know, already believing the Summer's over there in that grave, right? He's already telling us, hey, you know, I knew that grave was open on the 15th. I knew this guy was getting put down on the 18th. You know, um, So, and he knows the dates, honey. He knows the dates. I mean, he knows the dates. Like, when people remember stuff, trust me, when people, are able to call out names and they're able to call out dates, they had their hands in that shit. They, because if you don't got your hands in something, you're like, what? You you ain't calling out no dates, you ain't calling out no names, because hell, you can't remember because you didn't have nothing to do with it. It wasn't a priority for you, right? It wasn't a priority for you. The only time that dates and names is when it's a priority for you. And you got to have something in it to remember all that stuff. And he did. He remembered the date that this guy passed away. He remembered, the date Summer got taken. He remembers, he said there was a blue tin up over there when law enforcement was up there looking for Summer, the big blue tin up there. He also said, and Jody Sue did too. They both said there was a blue tin up there, right? Covering that grave site. And both of them, has called out that grave site on numerous occasions. Both of them, we got Andy saying, right at the time Timothy Morrison was being buried, we got him saying that, the funeral music woke him right out of his sleep, and, and he was thinking about how, this guy's going down on top of Summer, right? That this guy's being put down on Summer. So that's within days of Summer, missing. And then we have, Andy Bernard taking this lady, to the gravesite, right? And saying, this is exactly where I think she's buried. And then we have, Andy Bernard coming into Jody Sue's chat saying, I think she's in Morrison Cemetery, and I'm not afraid to say it. As if he should have a reason to be afraid. Something had to be on his mind for him to, continue with, and I'm not afraid to say it. So that tells me there's more people than Andy mixed up in this stuff. And he is intimidated by someone. By someone, he is intimidated. As much as he don't want to believe it, he is. So, that's what I'm talking about. Now, you got Andy taking this lady to Morrison Cemetery. That's where I believe he took her, to Morrison Cemetery. I believe he went up there and he pointed out Timothy Morrison's grave to her. But then he takes Ryan to a different grave. He takes Ryan to a different graveyard, right? He don't take Brian over to Morrison Cemetery. He doesn't take Brian to Timothy Morrison's grave. He takes Brian to some other graveyard, right there. I think she's in Morrison Cemetery. I'm not scared to say it, but here he is at a different graveyard. He's steering Ryan in a different direction. Why? And the other grave that, the other grave he's been saying she's in, well, it's there, but it's, but it's covered over. It's if you didn't know right where to find it, you wouldn't, because they had, stuff all over the top of it. So no one would take note that that grave even existed. Right? So that's what I'm talking about, Old boy's up there, and and he's and look how disrespectful. He's like dipping his foot. He's putting his foot on somebody's tombstone. I think that's kind of disrespectful, right? I mean, you should be, sweeping it off. You should be sweeping it off maybe pull, if it's got grass around it or whatever, you know, you might want to pull the grass away from it and try to clean it up a little bit and, maybe sweep it off, but you don't put your big foot on it. I mean, who in the hell does that? Who does that? I don't even know. These people are, there's something different. There's something different, that's for sure. But
I have said this since the beginning to people that made a difference. That I've told people about having the dream.
put a one, put a one in the chat if you think law enforcement makes a difference. If you think law enforcement, he says he, told this to people who make a difference. Put a one if you believe law enforcement makes a difference, because I do. I believe that law enforcement makes a difference. And if you're going, why doesn't he say it to law enforcement? Why isn't he saying it to law enforcement? I mean, that's who he needs to be saying it to, right? Just saying. Just saying. Absolutely. I think they do too. I really believe that they count and they do make a difference. Matter of fact, they make a bigger difference in this case than anybody, because it's their case to be solving. They're the law. That's what they get paid for. So they make one hell of a difference. I don't know why he's not talking to them. That is a question, right, Molly? That is a question. I got to agree with you on that.
That I've, in the open grave, it's been told, it's not a lie. And I have heard my whole life that the best time to get rid of somebody is when there's an open grave. The dude was buried on what day? The 18th? Okay, so what? Okay, so 3 days after Summer went missing, they
See, he knows the dates.
buried that dude. Do you think they dug the grave the day that Summer went missing? I'm saying it was dug between the day the dude died and the day Summer went missing, the 11th. Not if she went over there on the 15th when Candace left at some point in time off that fucking hill, took her over there. Maybe she went to Fred's and Fred helped her. If it was on the 15th, all she would have had to do is go over there and dig down just a little bit more, put her in there, cover her back up. When they brought the vault in a few days before they buried the dude, the concrete vault would have been set on top of it, and nobody would have known no different. And we know who dug the graves. We know all that shit. So I don't think nobody would have paid any attention to if she was done in there the day of the 15th.
Wow. They all know the people who dig those graves. He don't think they're going to pay no attention to that grave over there because everybody knows everybody. Everybody calls you friend, right? Perfect place. Perfect place. And Candace did go down to Fred's. We know she went down to Fred's. And Chad Arnold met up with Chad Arnold down there. Now we know that she follows Chad Arnold out of Ben Hill Road. We know that for a fact. But I want to play something else before I move on. Before I move on to what I'm about to say. I want to play something else here for you.
Usually you can see the road because they have went through here and mowed and took down a bunch of stuff away from the power lines.
Okay.
But usually it's full up. You can't even see the road.
That day, though, how was it? Was it full up, or was it like this?
That day and a few days prior to that, they were working on this.
Okay.
So I've even come to a conclusion maybe one of them people have snatched it.
Oh, interesting.
Because they were all the way up here on
Yeah,
the
I see.
You cannot see up on that hill whether the foliage is up or the foliage is down. You cannot see up on that hill. No way in hell. And look how steep that is. A screaming, kicking, shouting, 40-pound, 5-year-old, scratching, biting, carrying on. And we know summer was pretty rough. So she's going to be given if somebody grabs her up, she's going to really be giving it to them. She's going to be, and we knew she had a high pitch. Remember she was in the car and she screamed and she got threatened, right? She got threatened. By someone in the vehicle said, if you do that again, she had a high-pitched voice. And with Candace and Grandis right there outside, there is no way someone came down this hill packing a 40-pound kid, kicking, screaming, biting and scratching and carrying on. They would have, it would have hurt them both. They would have both been hurt coming down here. I mean, they'd have been hitting those trees. It would have been a mess. And there would have been evidence. There would have been evidence of that. Trust and believe there would have been a lot of evidence if that was the case. So, with that being said, Candace is, this is more of her gaslighting and her BS, thinking that, and you could tell when she was talking to Chris M, she was looking at him like, are you buying my BS? Right? She was really staring to try to see if, he was buying it.
Those,
Parks here.
okay, your mom's truck's right here.
Yes.
Okay, so when she's leaning against the milk, is she sleeping?
She was sleeping, yes.
Okay. From exhaustion from that day?
Yes, she was. Where I woke her up early, and she usually sleeps until 9, 10, even 12 o'clock if I let her.
Okay. How did the milk bottles get rearranged? Hunter said he had them on the floor, and then he put them next to him.
They weren't.
Is that true?
No.
Okay, so walk me through that.
When we dropped them off, they were actually still on his lap.
Okay.
And he put them on the other side of Summer.
Okay. So he reached over?
Yeah, he set them over there by that. That's a black tote she had in there.
Oh, a black tote she had in there. Did you hear that? A black tote that she had in there. When she said she's talking about Grandis. A black tote she had in there. What do you guys see? What do you guys see in there? Because I see brown boxes. I don't see no black tote. I see brown boxes. I see the milk stuffed up underneath this box to hold it in place. I seen another box on the floor holding the other milk jug in place. I seen, the seat belt really tight to hold Summer in place. I see that hood pulled so far to the freaking left, right? Well, it would be your right. It would be your right if you're looking at the screen, but it would be Summer's left. I see the hood pull so far to the left that you could tell someone was using that hood to actually, bring her up and put her back, bring her up, put her back to, to adjust her on those jugs right there. Somebody was working really hard to adjust her to be able to stay that way. And to be honest with you, I think they even used the Orange Crush bottle because it's wedged between the back seat and her, you know, and her hips. They, you know, it's like they crammed it in at an angle to try to, you know, so she wouldn't slide. And, you know, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. But you heard Candace say black tote.
Where I woke her up early and she usually sleeps until 9, 10, even 12 o'clock if I let her.
Okay. How did the milk bottles get rearranged? Hunter said he had them on the floor and then he put them next to him.
They weren't.
Is that true?
No.
Okay, so walk me through that.
When we dropped them off, they were actually still on his lap.
Okay.
And he put them on the other side of Summer.
Okay. So he reached over?
Yeah, he set them over there by that. What's a black tote she had in there?
Black tote she had in there. Now, what I believe, because this is not black tote, honey. This is boxes. What I believe is Candace slipped up. I think when they got back to the house, and dropped Granny off up there on Ben Hill Road after they took this video and went back up on the hill and gaslighted the boys into believing that their sister was running around somewhere, you know, that they were home and you know, she was out there running around somewhere. I believe that what Grandis and Candace did is put Summer in a black tote. And then they put it in this back seat, and that's what was in the back seat when she went down to Fred's. When she went down to Fred's house to meet up with Chad Arnold, I believe when she went down there, Summer was at that point in a black tote. And I think the reason that Grandis and Candace put Summer into a black tote and then put her in the back of here to be, you know, to go meet up with Chad is because one, they didn't want no scent. And I'm sure they put something, you know, something inside that tote as, you know, to mask the smell as well. Also, they put her in that tote and put it in the back seat in case the boys came out looking for their sister. Well, then Candace would have to act like she's missing early and she would have to go down off the hill and like she's going to look for Summer, and they would just delay calling law enforcement until Candace got back. You know, they had it all planned out. They had it all planned out, in my opinion. You know, they hid her in that black tote in case the boys did come out looking for her. They wouldn't be able to see her anywhere. And then Candace be like, what? We sent her in the house. I'm sure she went into the house. You know, she would have an alibi. And also they needed to put her in there, like I said, you know, to mask the smell. And also, you know, to contain her down in the, you know, wherever they buried her, which I believe it's Morrison Cemetery. I believe they took that tote over there because, you know, black tote, they wanted it the same color as the earth. They wanted it to, you know, when they put a blue tote or red tote or a different color tote would have stood out. You know, it would have, somebody might have spotted it down in there. But a black tote, the same color as the dirt, they're not going to, you know. And where to get a black tote? You know, and that even shows even more that this was planned out and carried out because they already went out and they found a black tote to be able to put her in, right? They made sure that they had a black tote, not a blue one, not a green one, not a red one. They made sure that freaking tote was black, the same color as the ground. So that even proves more of what we were thinking. Summer was sick. Summer had to be done away with to keep everybody from going to prison. And they planned it. They planned it out to a T. And like Andy Bernard said, I've said it. I've said it many, many times. I have said it. Right? He says, I have said it.
Did this since the beginning to people that made a difference. That I've told people about having the dream that I've, in the open grave. It's been told. It's not a lie. And I have heard my whole life that the best time to get rid of somebody is when there's an open grave. The dude was buried on what day? The 18th? Okay, so 3 days after Summer went missing, they buried that dude. Do you think they dug the grave the day that Summer went missing? I'm saying it was dug between the day the dude died and the day Summer went missing, the 11th. Not if she went over there on the 15th when Candace left at some point in time off that fucking hill, took her over there. Maybe she went to Fred's and Fred helped her. If it was on the 15th, all she would have had to do is go over there and dig down just a little bit more, put her in there, cover her back up. When they brought the vault in a few days before they buried the dude, the concrete vault would have been set on top of it, and nobody would have known no different. And we know who dug the graves. We know all that shit. So I don't think nobody would have paid any attention to if she was done in there the day of the 15th.
There you go. There you go. As he said, she probably went down there to Fred's. Well, she did, and met up with Chad Arnold and followed Chad Arnold right out up Ben Hill onto Beach Creek, where Morrison Cemetery is, where the open grave was. And you heard Candace slip up and say there was a black tote there instead of the dang brown boxes, right? So we know where Summer was after they got home. We know, we know where they put her once they got up on the hill in a black tote, back into that vehicle. Right? That's my opinion. You heard Candace mess up. Exactly. I believe that Summer is down there under that vault in a black tote. And they probably think that, if they was to put a camera down in there, they wouldn't be able to see the black tote because of the, the earth and the dirt and everything being the same color, and it being so dark that the black tote wouldn't be noticeable. It would be hard to spot on camera. These people know what they're doing. These are some hardened criminals right here. And Andy Bernard, was hanging with Don Wells. These two were besties. They were besties. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what went wrong, and I don't know why Summer had to pay the price, pay the price for whatever, was going on. But she did. That's my opinion. But Andy Bernard knows all about vehicles because he worked at a garage. And Don Wells started driving Candace's vehicle on the 14th. He wasn't driving it for 3 or 4 days. He was driving it for 2. He started driving it on the 14th, fired a co-worker to blame it on, and then he drove it on the 15th when everything went down. 2 days. And he admits he drove it for Starlink. He said, I had my phone, I had Starlink, I had, my boss and some other workers. I had a ton of alibis. How are they going to do anything to me? I know where I was. And he was armed up. He was armed up where he was. He was making sure he wasn't going down. Well, Grandis and Candace picks up a 15-year-old kid, goes to a swimming hole, uses grandma's knee as an excuse to be in Kingsport that day. And then an excuse to go pick up this boy. I'm telling you, this shit was, man, it was planned. These people planned it up. They carried it out. And this little girl paid the price for their pure freaking evilness. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. God bless. Super sticker. All right. Hey, girl, I appreciate it. God bless. God bless. But yeah, that's exactly, the way I believe it went down. It's the way, if you look at all the, if you look at all of what, it's not us. Let me explain this right now. First and above all, this is not our words, you guys. This is not none of our words. This is their words coming out of their mouths. This is everything they have said. We're taking everything, all the information that these people, the suspects surrounding Summers' case, we have took all of their own words, and what we have done is we have formed what happened June 15th, 2021. We've listened to everything these people said. We took it in consideration. We put the puzzle together, and everything that they've been saying, and everything that, all their slip ups and all their stuff has come down to one thing. All their actions, it's their own words, their own actions, have allowed us to understand that what happened to Summer was premeditated and carried out. Just Don Wells changing up that vehicle on the 14th, firing his co-worker to blame it all on the 15th when it all went down, was enough to tell us that it was premeditation and carried out. We didn't need anything else to know that. That was elementary. That's elementary right there. And then you take Jody Sue getting pissed off at Andy because he put a ring on another thing, and she comes flying out, right? And she comes flying out.
All right. Well, that's good. Y'all go over there and ask why exactly it is he was selling drugs to the children at 110. Why he was potentially causing little girls over there to be sedated and to be touched with the shit he was selling over there. Go ask. Because I have fucking questions. Not standing in front of him anymore. Yeah. And I found about a few days before all the shit went down. I'm not kidding, dude. And I got the fucking receipts on it. And I'm sure law enforcement does as well. He had known Summer was also being abused, and he hid it from everybody, including me. And he was very much selling drugs to the children at 110 and to Candace for those children. Now, what all that was, I don't know, but I do know it was happening. And I very much think it plays a role in what was happening to other little girls over there. And I very much do think that it could be part of why Summer looked so asleep, is maybe possibly Candace giving her the shit Andy was selling to her. So go ask, because I still have fucking questions. And I think that it was occurring since before the Utah trip. It is part of why Josie was taken to Utah, even though that was kind of a fucking lie, right? Why he went to Utah. But it's Andy's fault. And Candace's. You remember Candace saying Josie was, or Alice, or one of them, talking about how Josie was using, and that was the reason he was taken. It's not the reason Josie was taken out there. But shit occurring around that time is why.
There you go. There you go. She's basically saying that Josie was taken out there, you know, to be, you know, the stuff that was basically what Jody Sue's saying is they were trafficking. They were, you know, sedating and trafficking minor children. And the reason that Josie was taken to Utah is because, you know, well, I don't think I have to tell you what she's alluding to there. And here Candace is back on the hill, you know, carrying out that trafficking. And Candace is back on the hill meeting up with who? Andrew Halt, right? Andrew Halt at a storage unit, bringing some guy home named Jose that they didn't know from Adam, but brought him home and let him sleep in the house, hang around the house, have access to the children. Thank God that, you know, he wasn't one of those type of people, right? And here comes Don back with Josie, right? Don comes back to the house with Josie after having him up in Utah. And, you know, God knows what. You know, Mary said that they went out there, you know, in the mobile home that Don and Josie was staying in and found, you know, illegal substances and paraphernalia and all the stuff, right? So it tells that, you know, Don's out there, you know, obviously using, and these people, you know, seem to sedate up the children as well. And Don didn't want that boy inside the house. He didn't want them, you know, seeing or talking to this child at all. What was they hiding? So basically, Jody Sue's saying, you know, Don takes his boy up there to use and abuse, right? Well, he's gone. And Candace is back in Tennessee, meeting up at a storage unit with a bunch of people that seem to have a load of humans that they just brought down there. Too many to, you know, too many for just a car and a two-seater truck. So they had to have been a lot of people in the back of that U-Haul. Did those people get put in a storage unit? And according to Allison, you know, Andrew was up on the hill along with Jose and some of the others, according to Allison. Allison said that Candace had these people up on 110. She didn't say, she offered them to be up there. She said they were up there. That's what Allison said. And I believe it. And I believe it. Right? Absolutely. And that's probably why Andrew, has his nose stuck so far into this case. He's probably, probably if the truth comes out, he's probably going to be in prison too, right? Because I'm sure Candace is going to give up everything. She's going to give up everything on everybody. She's going to be doing everything she possibly can to get her sentence down, to the bare minimum. So she's going to be talking. She's going to talk about Andrew and the storage unit. She's going to talk about, Allie and Hunter. She's going to talk about, Andy and Jody Sue. She's going to talk about Fred and Laura. She's going to talk about Chad Arnold and Marlena Crawford and and their brother, and they're going to tell about everybody. And I think, they kind of have been. I think they kind of have been the whole time. When they were wanting to take the focus off themselves and throw all these other people under the bus. Remember how Don said, the Light brothers, he put under the bus. I mean, at the very, very beginning, they wanted to put that poor old man under the bus, right? They wanted to put him because he was an outsider, and but nobody was buying it because law enforcement says, hey, we know where this guy was the whole time and he didn't do anything. So please don't be bothering this man. Don't be, harassing this man. This man, we know that this man, didn't have anything to do with this particular case. He was at a hotel. He was on surveillance the whole time. Even his dog was on surveillance, right? And he was, outside of the area, nowhere near the area. So please leave him alone. But Don and Candace, that's who they wanted to push first. And when it didn't work, then Don started saying, the Light brothers. And then he started saying, Allison and her family. And then he said, Dudley. First off, he went on Dudley. And Dudley, his car broke down, and the law enforcement cleared Dudley and Dobbs. Once that happened, we got the Light brothers, which has been in trouble for what? What has Frank Light been in trouble for? I think we all know, right? And then you got he tossed out, after that he was tossing out Andy Bernard and Jody Sue. He was, and what did they got? They got that son, and that son, let's go back to Jody Sue about her son, because Jody Sue said, Jody Sue actually made a statement that Andy saw Summers' on-live body, okay? And she said he was terrifying his daughter, right? I can't remember what she calls her daughter, but she says he was terrifying her daughter. And then she's, and people, to solidify it, she went and got her daughter to come out, right, on another creator's panel. And her daughter said, I know, Daddy was talking to me and Bubs, which is her brother, me and my brother. Well, I don't think that Andy was actually talking to his daughter at all. I think Andy was talking to his son, right? That's who I think he was talking to, myself. You know, Jody Sue, why did Jody Sue try to protect? Why did she try to protect the fact that her son was there when Andy was doing this? I mean, she didn't say that, you know, he's trying to terrify the children, my kids, you know, as in my daughter and son both. She was saying my daughter, she was trying to leave her son out of the equation. Kind of like Hunter was trying to, you know, leave his wet britches out of the equation, right? We all seen him go in the water, but Summer's the only one wet, according to Hunter. Summer is the only one wet from swimming, not him. He ain't got no wet britches, but we know he did because we saw him going into the water. And he, you know, he was, you know, a little too high up, right? He was too high up before Candace turned the video off. He was already, you know, the water was already up over his pants legs, getting ready to head up to his stomach, right? So, you know, we know he was wet, but he wanted to, you know, gaslight us into believing, oh no, he's dry. And Jody Sue did the same thing with her boy. She did the same thing with her boy as Hunter did. You know, she wanted to leave him out of the equation, just like Hunter wanted to leave himself and his wet britches out of the equation. And, you know, so when people do this, it's a sign of freaking guilt. It's, you know, they got a dog in the race, baby, or they wouldn't be trying to hide stuff. If you ain't got a dog in a race, then you know, you don't care, right? You say, hey, he was trying to scare up my kids, both of my kids, you know, he's going at both of my kids. I don't know what his problem is. You know, that's the way you're going to talk because you don't care, because you don't got a dog in a race and you're innocent and it doesn't matter. But it did matter because she was trying to keep her son out of the equation when he was right there listening to Daddy talk about seeing Summer's online body. And then Jody Sue comes out later and she makes another statement that the reason her boy went in the military was to get away from Summer's case. Well, if he's innocent, why does he got to go in the military to get away from Summer's case? Make that make sense? Can anybody answer that for me? I wish somebody could. I wish they would, you know, because to me it don't make no sense. Right? I know if me and my family was innocent and we done nothing, I ain't sending nobody no damn where to get away from anything. Because we have nothing to hide. And I do know if I start sending people off, then obviously it's for a reason. And it couldn't be a good one. It couldn't be a good one. Right? And that's another thing. Why is she keeping her daughter isolated? What does her daughter know that Jody Sue's afraid might be told to a little girlfriend? Or, you know, if her daughter actually got out in public, got around, you know, got around real kids at school, got around other people, what is Jody Sue so afraid her daughter's going to say? You know, Don Wells is keeping his son isolated up in Utah, away from Mary and them, because of why? Because Don Wells has everything to hide. Right? He has everything to hide, nothing to gain by Mary and them knowing his business. And so why is Jody Sue isolating this child? I mean, doesn't this child need, you know, to interact with other children? Doesn't she need to be out there interacting with society? I mean, even my kids, you know, do I homeschool? Yes. But we also, you know, we also meet up with other homeschool families at parks and at different locations and so forth and so on for history and science and you know, and a lot of things, and they get to interact with one another. We also, you know, have picnics and stuff like that with other families. And also in our community, my kids hang with all the other kids. I mean, they go, you know, swimming together, they go shoot basketball together, they, you know, they mix and they mingle and they hang out, and you know, nobody's keeping anybody out of society. It's abnormal to isolate your child like that. And if she's isolating her child up like that, then what does she feel her child knows that may be told that could get someone in trouble? Just saying. Don't you guys find it weird that she sends her one kid off to the military and isolates her other one? Put a one in the chat if you think that's suspicious. Because I do. I think that's fucking weird. Just saying. Oh yeah, definitely. I think Kathy the friend and Candace Wells knew each other long before Summer went missing. That, you know, that's my opinion. And I'm pretty damn sure they did. Because Kathy the friend was too weird. She was just too damn weird and too into helping Candace cover up, you know, whatever needed to be covered up. Just saying. That woman was a liar, promised you know, she came out and basically, you know, she came out and basically tried to, you know, capitalize off of the back of little Summer by lying. And then she promised us all that she was going to take that. She said that her husband took that box to law enforcement, that she ended up, you know, and we believed her. We believed that she took it to law enforcement, her husband. We believed they took it there and left it, only to find out that Candace went and picked it up from her, that she didn't ever turn it over to nobody but Candace. I don't think it's suspicious, only because I saw what some creators reached out to her minor child, and the things bordered on criminal. I don't blame Jody Sue Brown for protecting her kid. You know, protecting your child and isolating your child is two different things. You do know that, right, April? Not allowing your child to socialize with other children and be a normal teenager, a normal, you know, child, that's kind of abuse. That's like abuse. I mean, protecting your child is, you know, knowing where it's at all times, right? Protecting your child is like knowing where your child is, making sure that you know the parents of the friend's house they're at, making sure that you know where they are, what, you know, what park they're going to go to shoot basketball, to, you know, what, you know, is it going to be a home game or an away game with the school? You know, it is always knowing where your child's going to be and what your child's up to and what your child's doing. That's, you know, that's good parenting. But isolating your child to the point that, you know, it ain't going to know how to communicate with other humans because it ain't ever been around any. That is abuse, if you ask me. I mean, just saying. And if you're isolating your child like that, you got something to hide. You got something. You don't isolate a child like that unless you got mental problems, unless you got mental issues. Just saying. Yeah, they supposedly some of the well supporters were up on the land, and they had set up some alarms where if you know, like infrared, and if you go into it, it sets it off. And one of them got set off. They were all up there outside, from my understandings. They were all outside the well's house and talking up there. And one of the alarms went off. And they they seen somebody and went chasing after them. And by the time they got down on the road, they'd seen what color shirt the person was wearing. And when they got down on the road and went down through there, they saw Jody Sue's son with Jody Sue standing at the vehicle, to my understandings. And he was wearing the exact same shirt they was chasing. And they said it was him, that they knew for a fact it was him. And Jody Sue tried to say, no, it wasn't my son. But from what Don Wells had told me personally, he told me that he thinks the boy was up there trying to listen in on what was being said, so he could tell mommy everything. That's what Don told me. April C. I remember Scott H. And there was another guy, can't remember his name, but there was another guy involved in all of this too. And they took up a GoFundMe for Jody Sue. They were the ones that, you know, when they were getting the billboard money together, and they had a funding for Jody Sue to get off the hill, to, you know, to get out of there. And she, from my understanding, she made quite a few bucks out of that. And she made quite a few bucks over at Tiffany Marie's. She made quite a few bucks in a few places. And if you remember Jody Sue, she wouldn't even go on nobody's panel. You could she wanted you to put up her Cash App and everything, but you weren't allowed to, she said, profit off of Summer while she was on your panels, because she wanted to profit it all herself. You could put up her Cash App, but nothing of yours, because she didn't want people accidentally given to you instead of her. Jody Sue is an evil, crafty bitch. And if she's isolating that child, then she's doing it for a reason. And that's to keep that kid from telling some little friend some real business that mommy or daddy might report to law enforcement. Trust and believe me. And I only heard her kid come out and talk one time, and it wasn't on Scott's channel or any of their No Man's channel. That was a woman's channel that she brought her daughter to talk. So, if you're insinuating that, that some of these, creators were, like what we suspect Don Wells of, of being where Summer's concerned, and we know he was where his sisters were concerned. because there's too many witnesses, and there's a report that Mary made at the law enforcement up there in Utah. So if you're insinuating that Scott H is, like weird or something, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to listen to that, because I don't believe that shit. I don't, if that's what you're insinuating, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to pan out, because Scott H really worked for those billboards. He helped in Summer's case a lot. And he tried to help Jody Sue all he could too. I remember all of that stuff going down back then, and there was nobody trying to get at Jody Sue's daughter. Absolutely not. Yes, it was Chase. It was Scott H and Chase. That's exactly who it was. I remember them guys. I remember all the money they was dragging in for her too. Yes. So, yeah, he did. And so did 423 Chase. They just wanted answers for little Summer. They wasn't trying to do anything evil in any way to anyone else. I totally agree.
Always watching.
That's what we do here. Watching. That's what we do here. At the end of the night, you hug it out and you move on.
Sorry, guys, took me a little bit.
And Doug helped Jody Sue too. Doug helps Jody Sue as well.
Mudflat.
But no,
Still
it wasn't Doug. It was them two guys got a GoFundMe up when the billboards money was coming out for Jody Sue. And there was a big scandal over it, because some of the people didn't, they wanted all the money to go towards the billboards and not to Jody Sue. And that was the big, the big argument. The big argument was because, they didn't want Jody Sue, getting any of the monies, getting in the way of the billboard money with her GoFundMe stuff. There was a big dispute over that. If you were, if you were there, you would know. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys, if I'm right. Put a 1 in the chat. I'm going to
tell you something.
I've got a motherfucking. Damn good memory. I got a damn good memory. Photographic, to be honest. I got photographic memory.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't forget
my
the
dick
damn
is fucking
thing.
1 inch from the floor.
So if I tell you it happened, baby, it happened.
If you got a photographic memory, I'm the motherfucker.
I remember every damn thing down to a T. I wish I could forget. I wish I could. A lot of stuff I like to forget.
Tell you something,
but I can't.
My name's
I remember
and I
everything.
think I'm better than everybody else, Fuck you.
You can't go and tell me.
You know?
Because I motherfucking know it all.
See?
Especially in Summer's case.
I motherfucking know it all. No, you don't.
And I can tell you, I can tell you a hell of a lot.
Be right back, y'all.
About Quentin's case.
Fuck it.
And I can tell you even more about the Idaho 4 case, and I didn't even cover it. But I can tell you step by step to it. I only have to see or hear something once. That's it. Oh, no, don't tell April to be quiet. She doesn't have to be quiet. She is most entitled. She is most entitled to the way she feels. I want people to think for themselves. I mean, however she thinks, however she feels, that's her prerogative, right? She's got every right to her own feelings. And I'm not going to tell her to feel any other way. I'm just telling her, she needs to go back. She needs to do her research. And, she needs to go back and do her homework, her research. And she'll find that what I'm saying is absolutely right. It's absolutely right. I don't forget nothing. I wanted those billboards for summer too.
Holy fuck.
I wanted that reward fund for
Mary
summer.
Poppins knows everything. Mary Poppins is a cousin.
It was just heartbreaking as hell when they took that reward fund, right?
Sorry, y'all.
When they swooped in and took this little girl's reward fund, I expected it to be there till the day she was, she was found. At least be there for, 4 or 5 years. I would have suspected they at least kept it up, until now. But they was after it from day one. It's like the city wanted it. They wanted it. The first day it came out, they wanted to get rid of it. And that's how it felt. That's how it felt when it came to the reward fund. And Don and Candace certainly did not want the billboards. They wanted the money. They personally told me that themselves.
Oh, here we fucking
Don
go.
Wells told me that.
I can't stand this judgmental bitch. For fuck's sake, shut the fuck up. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that Candace had the first two children by, and his name was Andy. That's who she's got tattooed on her fingers.
Cat.
That was her first baby's daddy. And one of the children was severely abused, the little boy. And the other child, well, it was tossed through the system so much that, it was not normal as well, right? You can't be normal when you're shuffled all through the system your whole life and really could never call anywhere home. That's got to be very hard. And a lot of bad things happen to you as you're being shuffled through the system as well. So, with all of that said, both of those children, was, and had been severely abused,
Holy fuck, bitch.
throughout their lives, because why? Because they didn't have a good mother.
Sure.
They didn't have a good
Whatever
mother.
you say, PG, you dirty bitch.
There's a lot of children out there. There's a lot of children out there that's single parent children. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of these kids, they have really good moms. And some have really good dads. You don't have to be a mom, it don't have to be a mother. It just has to be a parent that truly gives a damn. Right? It just has to be a parent that really cares. Oh, Lord. We got Big Bad Dawn in the back, right? Big Bad Dawn. Big Bad Dawn, you just got kicked. You got a steel-toe boot out of the back stage, right? There you go. Try that one on for size.
That magical shit that chills your nerves, crushes headaches, and helps you sleep like you didn't just.
But yeah, I'm not trying to get off topic tonight. I'm not trying to go into left field tonight with, Jody Sue's daughter.
We're gonna take a short intermission. This was just sent to me.
The fuck happens if you eat watermelon every day? First, your dry ass body gets hit with a hydration bomb. This juicy bitch is 90% water. One bite, and it's like your mouth's getting hosed down after years in the fucking desert. Stress the fuck out? Watermelon's got magnesium. That magical shit that chills your nerves, crushes headaches, and helps you sleep like you didn't just spend 3 hours doom scrolling in bed. Trying to lose weight? Good. This red wet legend fills you up without bloating your sad stomach. Unlike those 3 greasy tacos you keep lying to yourself about. Your gut. Oh, it's finally gonna work like it fucking should. No more feeling like you're carrying a brick. And long term, lower risk of heart crap and even cancer. Cause this fruit's packed with the good shit your trash diet forgot existed. Bottom line, watermelon isn't just delicious. It's a juicy ass, hydrating, nerve calming, poop saving miracle. Eat the damn fruit. The fuck?
But asshole. Back to PG. You know?
You know, I'm not going to try to go there. At least Jody Sue's daughter's still here. Jody Sue's daughter's still here. You know. Summer's not. Summer's not. You know, Jody Sue, I believe Jody Sue and Andy, they protected their children, even though they was over there on 110 selling Candace stuff to sedate up Summer and other little girls, other children to be touched.
Gross.
They wasn't, you know, they wasn't going to let anybody do that to them.
You know?
And, you know, they were making their money by selling the shit.
Eat the fruit!
So other kids could be done that way. And that's probably the dirty hand they got in all of this. Right? Out of the mouth of Jody Sue. That's out of the mouth of Jody Sue. Now, let me remind you guys, this is not PG's words, damn it. This is Jody Sue's words.
You know?
Out of the mouth of Jody Sue is, we protected our children because the way we made our money was by giving Candace stuff to sedate up those other kids, right?
Screw them up!
To give Candace so she could sedate not just Summer, but other little girls so they can be touched.
Whatever
That's
you
out
say,
of Jody
sweetie.
Sue's mouth, not ours.
Alright. Well, that's good. Y'all go over there and ask why exactly it is he was selling drugs to children at 110. Why he was potentially causing little girls over there to be sedated and to be touched with the shit he was selling over there. Go ask. Because I have fucking questions.
I got fucking
Not
questions. How do you
standing
know
in
all
front
that,
of him
bitch?
anymore.
I'm not standing in front of him anymore. It means she knew. It means she knew. The whole fucking time, she knew.
Sure. What do you say, bitch?
And that's how they got theirs. That's how they got their money. They didn't need to do anything with their kids because, you know, they were supplying the shit
You know?
to get other kids done that way.
Sure.
Right? I mean, that's my opinion. That's exactly what she's saying.
You know?
That's what she's saying. And so, you heard Andy Bernard
No,
when
I haven't.
Marlena was on our panel. You heard what Andy said.
No, I didn't.
He said, that was your daughter up there, Marlena, not mine.
You know?
That was your daughter up there. There you go. And other little girls to be touched. There you go. So they knew what the hell was going on at 110 Ben Hill Road. They knew. And they knew what little girls were being touched. Just saying. Right? Yes, she does. Absolutely, Carrie. Yes, she does.
I do not believe Andy was selling drugs. I believe you too.
Oh yeah,
Yoko.
that's true.
I
Absolutely,
agree.
April. None of them will
I
ever
agree.
tell the truth. Even with direct evidence, they will say it wasn't me. Of course.
With direct evidence,
Because
what
if
evidence?
they say
Next.
it was, they're going to prison for a hell of a long time
Sure.
too.
Whatever
For a
you
hell
say,
of a
sweetie.
long time. You're not. It's illegal to supply stuff
Is it?
to a mother to sedate her own child and other people's children
Really?
so they
Oh,
can
there's
be
no
touched.
proof of that. You
That's
stupid
illegal.
bitch.
It's also
no
illegal
proof
to be a mother
to what the fuck
and
you're
buy
saying.
stuff to sedate your child and
There's
other
no
little children
hardcore
to
fact
be touched.
to what the fuck you're saying.
You see how this is a domino effect? You see how it's starting to roll?
No, I don't. But if you humble feel
A
about
lot of people going to prison, right? And that's why they work together
sure, whatever.
with the cemetery
At
over
least
there and
you're
the people
safe
they
in your
knew,
mind.
and why they planned it out so well to get rid of this little girl. That something happened, something went wrong,
Sure.
and if they took her to a hospital,
At least
well,
you're
they'd have
safe
been in
your
prison.
mind. Ow.
So they couldn't do that. Like when True told everybody about the OD,
Sure.
they didn't take her to a hospital. They took her to True's mommy's or grandmother's house. They took her there, and had she not made it, well, Summer would have been missing then, because none of these people want to go to prison.
Yup.
Do you
Whatever
think
you say, PJ.
that True's family would have wanted to go to prison for not calling and getting help before this kid became unlived?
Ow.
I mean, that's aiding and abetting right there. That's aiding and abetting a criminal. And you're going to prison.
Sure.
Especially if, if there's a person involved who ends up deceased. You're going to prison.
Whatever you say. At least you're safe in your mind.
I mean,
there
is so much they can get you on.
Sure.
They wasn't going to, they wasn't going to call 911 later. They were going to be like, oh, hell, this got to get covered up somehow.
Sure.
Just like it did on June 15, 2021.
Sure. Whatever you say,
it
sweetie.
got covered. Now,
hey,
who was it? Who was it that did something?
Nobody.
To cause Summer to have to be destroyed. Who was it that caused that? Who was it? Was it Don Wells? Was it Grandis? Was it Candace? Was it Jody Sue's son? Andy? Who the hell was it?
Obviously none of them.
Was it Chad Arnold? Was it, who was it? Who exactly did something that caused this little girl to not be able to get medical attention because somebody was going to prison if she did? Who did it? In my opinion, somebody did it. We just don't know who.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
But you heard it come out of Jody Sue's own mouth.
Okay, because you can trust everything that comes out of Jody Sue's mouth.
That these children were being touched.
Sure.
You heard out of Don Wells' own mouth.
Sure.
That he supposedly sold a $5,000 videotape that had his boss doing very naughty things with his daughter. And he was talking about Summer.
The truth. Where's the receipts, bitch?
Because he said that his boss started crying and said they're going to call me a child, you know what.
Sure, whatever you say, you lying asshole. Why the fuck you lying?
Right.
Why you always lying? Oh my God.
So these
Stop
people think
fucking
nothing
lying.
of telling that this was going on. Now, I think that's pretty damn bold, seeing that law enforcement is hearing and listening and knows that there's a 5-year-old missing completely that they need to find and find the answers for. I think it's very bold. Anyone else with a 5-year-old missing child that said this kind of stuff
Oh my God.
would
Shut
be
the
in
fuck
prison.
up, you dumb bitch.
Law enforcement would say, I don't care who you said it to. You said it.
No, I didn't.
And your ass is going to prison for it. You told everybody that you committed a crime. You didn't say it to law enforcement? Yes, you did. We were listening. We heard you. You were saying it to everyone, including us.
Sure, go ahead.
Because we are part of the public.
Sure, whatever you say.
And you made it a public announcement. And therefore, you're under arrest. We wouldn't have got away with that. So why did Don and Candace?
Why do I give a fuck?
Why is Jody Sue getting away?
No, nobody's got a photo
With
of
saying
that,
that, you know, this was going on and she knew it and wasn't going to be standing in front of him and protecting him anymore. Why are these people not in jail? I mean,
there's no
they're all
proof, you
confessing
stupid bitch.
that, you know, they were trafficking little children.
There's no proof to your bullshit. That's why.
Two weirdos.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be in jail.
That they were allowing little girls
You
to be
stupid
touched
fucking bitch.
by weirdos. So why are they still free? What the hell is wrong with our law in this country? What the hell is wrong with the law in Tennessee?
Because all your bullshit is exactly that. Bullshit. But enjoy that.
It makes you start to wonder,
do
is there videos of someone in a high place is why this case ain't getting solved?
No.
Is there a video somewhere of someone
No.
and that's the reason
No.
that these people are able to say things like this and walk free?
You a liar,
What is the reason? Why are they getting away with this?
Because you's a liar and there's no proof to your shit.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Because if anyone else did that, your ass would be history.
Sure. Whatever you say, Barb.
History. And I know for a fact.
No, you don't.
That law enforcement, you know.
No, we don't know.
For one, they have had prisoners testify.
Sure.
That this person confided stuff in them.
Sure.
And to them.
Sure.
About a certain crime.
Sure.
And that person went to prison. They went up, you know, Crap Creek without a paddle. Because of what another prisoner said.
Sure.
Another prisoner turned in evidence.
Exactly, Lindsay. How you doing?
When another prisoner's word shouldn't be worth the fucking paper it was wrote on.
Right.
Their credibility is crap.
Sure.
But because they told law enforcement what was said and was willing to testify and did, well, they got some brownie points, and the person they testify against, like I said, went up crap creek. Right? No paddle.
Sure.
No paddles. Now, this is just he said, she said bullshit
Not really.
that got this person put away.
Not really.
People go into a bar. They confide into someone sitting in there. That person calls law enforcement. Law enforcement picks the other person up. They testify, and that person goes to prison. But Don and Candace is able to come out here
I agree.
and admit
She's
it
a fucking
in
idiot.
whole public. It ain't he said, she said. It's their voice on recording. But law enforcement is overlooking it and doing nothing about it.
Sure.
Do you find that suspicious? Put a 1 in the chat, because I find that suspicious.
I don't.
Just saying. I find that super fucking weird.
It's not. It's just the way life is, you stupid fuck. It ain't suspect at all, bro. It's just the way the world works. You know, they
my
use
opinion.
that. You know,
I'll keep
police use that tactic all the time to get bigger, to catch fucking people. You know that, right? It's not unusual for police
White
to use
boy radio.
inmates against other inmates. You fucking idiot.
You just
It's called
got
an
a boot.
informant. You dumb bitch. That's what the fucking informants are. You stupid bitch. They're criminals who snitch on other criminals. You dumb bitch.
Only thing comes to my mind when I see or hear about white boy radio,
Here we
or
fucking
whatever
go.
he calls himself, is super freaky, right? That's all I could think of. Super freak, super freaky. Hey Pam, is that you?
Hey, Pam, and that now?
I see your puppy,
I
but I
think
don't
your
see you.
mommy. Bro, she comes back to my fucking chat. Boot that bitch. I don't fucking
Yeah, if
want
I
her.
can't see you, I can't let you up.
I'll show you my dick.
And Pam's in the back chat too, I think, or at least her puppy is.
I'll show you my dick.
Something happened. I don't know.
Oh, but I'll show you my dick. Want to see it? It's nice and
Oh,
sweaty.
she just came up to say the dollar store.
Just saying. It's nice and sweaty. Want to see it? Do you
She's
want to
coming up to
touch
say
it?
that for you guys. Okay, Pam, I see you, girl. I see you.
You want to touch my penis?
She might want to close that camera.
You want to touch
No,
my
I'm
penis?
kidding. Hey, you better close the camera, girl. I don't think you want to. You don't think you want everybody to see your hair sticking up. What's up, girl? Damn, you sound like you got a cold.
Want to touch my penis?
I don't think you want to. Girl, I got to kick you off panel, man. I might catch that shit.
What you doing up? What you doing, PG?
Not much, girl. What's up with you? What happened to her? I must have offended her. I'm sorry.
You want to touch my penis?
Yeah, PG done ate one too many brownies, right?
You fucking
Come
with
back,
double blooded?
Pam. I was just kidding, man. For real. I was just kidding. I wasn't kidding about the hair sticking up. It was sticking up. But I was, I was kidding about catching her cold on panel.
Stupid fucking
Where's
hole.
she at? What happened to you, Pam? I know you listening. Anyway, she's playing peekaboo. Yeah, she must be doing something. I was just messing with her, you guys. I was just messing with her. I guess some people you can't. Some people you can't play with like that, right? PG's so mean. Right? She's so damn. Yeah, she's probably in the basement eating all the brownies. Okay, Pam, shut the camera. Girl, ain't nobody be wanting to see your cleavage. All right. Hey, girl, you got me playing in the background.
So how you doing, PG?
I'm doing good. What about yourself, girl?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for the prayers still.
Hey, girl, you know we're praying for you and your
Can I
boyfriend.
throw up
Both of
now?
y'all.
But you know
Can I
what?
throw up now?
What?
PG, remember when Dom was beating on that refrigerator? He says, I don't know what all she did.
Oh, let me tell you another thing. I seen Don Wells was on Doug. He was on Doug's. And Doug brought up Candace. And, how Candace could have done something. And, and he said,
Now.
and he told Donald, he said, he said, I know
I
that you want to protect her and all of this stuff, Donald,
Blah,
but you
blah,
wasn't there.
blah, blah.
And you really can't say what she did. And Don's like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, he even at one point threw Candace under the bus, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I was actually watching it.
Hi, Candace.
Maybe it was last night. I was watching it. But yeah, he absolutely, Don Wells on Doug's
Hi,
panel
Candace. How are you today?
threw Candace under the bus. He admitted.
Listen,
He admitted
this bitch pisses me off.
that
Yeah.
he can't say. I mean, he was basically saying, "I'm not going down with her," right? I'm not going down with her.
You're going down.
I mean, he told
Like you play.
I know what you
that's when
mean,
he was telling
dude.
Doug that
It's so freak, then you
he knew
come
where he
over me.
was, and he has all these
Yeah.
alibis and everything, and that nobody would be, that nobody was going to be able to implicate him in nothing. And he's like, and he told Doug, he says, "You're right. I mean, she could have did something." He admitted it.
I hope you're
I was
well.
like,
I hope you're all good.
"Whoa, yeah."
PG.
Hang on. I got to pause this. Hi. What's going on? I hope you're all right. Hope everything's all good in life at this moment. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. Seriously. I hope everything's good. You out there busting your ass working in this hot weather today? Because I'm telling you, it's hot today. It's like, it's going to be 88 with rain. I'm telling you that now. It's going to be 88 with rain today. It's crazy. But, I missed a lot of this live because I went to the store and shit. So I'm just picking up. I let the shit run, but it's good to see you. A lot of this might offend you or upset you, so please be careful. If it upsets you, you don't have to stay, but it's good to see you. Let's not bombard Candace with a lot of shit. She's here. She's cool. She's chill. Timmy Gumbel, PG irritates the hell out of me. Calls Summer and calls people human along with listen. Just listen. I get it too. She fucking irritates me. I already did. Already done. Oh, 88. I wish it. Well, it's 88 and we have rain coming in. And it's so it's gonna be a hot, nasty rain. So, but we're supposed to be cooling off, thank the heavens. Well, let's get back into
Doug told me to have
Yeah, I know,
call.
right? It's good to see you come over. Thank you for being here.
Content for Summer.
Sorry, I forgot to post up my
You, no one else.
Oh, I
Karina
appreciate
A.
that.
Karina A's message in chat.
How the wheels have turned. What do you mean, Pam? Miss O'Connor?
Karina.
Karina A just posted that in the chat.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, with all of them, every one of them that was up on that hill and
Calls
around it
herself a Christian and then threatens
has
the
put
parents of a missing
Summer
child. And then, and then
alive
treats the
or something.
people of a missing child like shit.
They
Nah,
all
that
have
ain't
said
right. She's a piece of shit, right?
Candace,
I agree.
if I go out in the woods and I find Summer, I would have to scoop her up and I'd mess up a crime scene.
Oh my
I
lord.
gotta put Summer aside because the boys are here and living. Give
Right.
me 2 days and I'll tell you
Fuck
everything that
that. I could
happened
not do
and
9
we'll go
100.
live.
But listen, I'm letting you guys know if Candace comes
Maybe
in
she
or
didn't know what
somebody
happened.
else
How
like
in the hell
that,
she
please
gonna
do
tell
not
it?
bombard them with questions. They are
Right?
here to
She
take
ain't
part
gonna
in
tell it if she didn't know. That's what I'm
live
saying. These
and
people have
everything
admitted
else.
that they
Not
know
for everybody
exactly
to
what
bombard
happened to
with
this little
questions,
girl
okay?
so many
Please
times.
respect
It's
that.
pathetic, and I don't understand why law enforcement ain't on it and ain't doing something about it. You know,
I'm
and
sorry. What,
everybody's talking about this PI
Who's
and this
Lindsay? I
PI
did not
turning
see
in a
that.
tip. His tip was about a brother wanting to talk about a brother. And, it had
What the
nothing to
fuck's the
do
problem?
with the search that they're doing up at Ben Hill in the cemetery right now.
No, I didn't
The
think
reason
Lindsay had an issue.
they're up there is not, I know who turned it in, and it wasn't no PI. I know who turned that tip in. Matter of fact, is a couple people in here,
Yeah, I'll see.
more than one. I'm not going to give out
Fucking
names,
hell. Why do I
but
gotta
I
do this
know
shit?
who turned everything in. And I know who originally.
Oh, they were just asked. Oh,
Um,
Lindsay was asking if we're cool with Candace. I never really had an issue with it.
As
To be honest with you,
the one
I'll say it right here, so because I know Candace is watching,
the original,
and I'll say it right now, and I'll say it to her face too. The only issue I had with Candace was she reminded me of somebody up here I don't get along with and I don't like. That was my only issue with Candace. Outside of that, I never really had an issue with her. Outside of what other people were trying to push on me to have an issue with. I don't have an issue with her. That's it. So, it is what it ain't. PG has a new theory every other week. I mean, every freaking night she goes live. Every new live, she has a new theory. Man, knows all the BS these idiots say. Trust me. Oh yeah, I know.
person I know personally, the original person who did all the work to get this in the works.
Sure, whatever you say, Mudfly.
And it wasn't this PI that everybody's wanting to give attention to.
I know, because
and
I
his
have
brother on brother thing.
Because I have
nobody's heard a damn thing about that
she
from
looks
any
like somebody
direction,
up here that I don't like.
whatsoever. And I'm not even sure he ever even reported it. But I do know what got reported to get law enforcement off his backside. And I know who reported it. And I know who initiated it all to be reported. And it has nothing to do with that PI. It has all to do with the people on this channel and in this channel. And that's the truth.
And remember, when Doug was over on Another Creators, Doug was over there and he asked Candace what kind of knee brace was Grandis wearing. But you can go and ask Vaughn and he'll tell you
I'll be right back.
He's never seen a knee brace on
Yeah,
Grandis.
when they did the interview, I actually have the video where they did the interview, and Grandis is sitting in the background. You could see her sitting back there with no damn knee brace on. There's no knee brace at all on this woman. You know, she used the doctor to go into Kingsport that day. You know, they had to think of something really good to go in there, and what better than the hospital? So they used her knee to go there in order to pick up Hunter, in order to go to that swimming hole. That swimming hole was real. The real destination was the swimming hole, but they couldn't just take Summer to Kingsport, pick up Hunter, and go to a swimming hole. How in the hell would that look? They didn't take the boys. They get up real early, go pick up Hunter, and go to a swimming. That wouldn't have looked right. They needed,
exactly. Why didn't they take the boys? They were going swimming.
Because they had a plan for Summer at that swimming hole. They had an appointment with Summer at that swimming hole, meeting up with Hunter.
Exactly.
Summer was already set up for Summer to meet up with Hunter in that water. I'm telling you. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Summer, I do not believe, is my opinion, that child is not alive at all on those milk jugs. She got dressed at Allison's house. She got dressed and makeup put on her face. And staged up on those milk jugs. And I truly believe now that when they went back to the house, they took that little shitty video about 10 minutes away from the house. They took that little crappy video to try, so that they can rule out the morning, because she wasn't, showing signs too much deterioration yet. So they did this little video, so that law enforcement would know that they made it back into Beach Creek, where they planned on saying she disappeared from. And, and then they went up on that hill and they gaslighted those boys, and they put her in a black tote, went down, met up with Chad Arnold, came back out of Ben Hill Road onto Beach Creek. And I believe they went straight over there to that mother freaking cemetery. And I really, truly believe that she probably is underneath.
And what?
That vault.
Brandis.
But I'm going to tell you another thing, Pam. Andy Bernard. Now, I like to listen to people's words, and let's listen to him.
Said this since the beginning to people that made a difference. That I've told people about having the dream that I've, in the open grave.
That was not a dream.
It's been told. It's not a lie. And I have heard my whole life that the best time to get rid of somebody is when there's an open grave. The dude was buried on what day? The 18th? Okay, so 3 days after Summer went missing, they buried that dude. Do you think they dug the grave the day that Summer went missing? I'm saying it was dug between the day the dude died and the day Summer went missing, the 11th. Not if she went over there on the 15th when Candace left at some point in time off that fucking hill, took her over there. Maybe she went to Fred's and Fred helped her. If it was on the 15th.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Maybe she went to Fred's and Fred went and helped her. Well, I kind of thought about that. That's one of the things that, has often been keeping me awake at night the last few nights. I really grabbed onto this a few when we played it, and and a few days back. And I'm going to tell you something. I wanted to bring it back to your attention because I haven't been able to sleep well thinking about this. But you know what? Let's think about it. Chad Arnold is friends with Fred and Laura and them too, right? They're all in cahoots. These people are all in cahoots, y'all. Now listen to this. Fred and Laura said that they went to a scrapyard, and then they said they didn't. They said they took a car to the scrapyard and they got in. Then they took one to the scrapyard, they didn't get in. And then they said they were out on the road with some freaking motorcycle person dropping it off somewhere. And they never seen the motorcycle person again. And then, I mean, we've heard like how many freaking stories have we heard about Fred and Laura? Where the hell was Fred? Where was Fred and Laura really? Where was they? Was
Now,
they over there? Was they over there down in that damn hole digging as well? Were they over there helping to dig a hole big enough for that tote to go in? Was they over there digging too? I want to know where the hell Fred and Laura it was. You know, Fred's out on Ziggy's right now, answering questions, talking. Hey, Ziggy, have your old man answer that. Where the hell was him and Laura for real on June 15th, 2021, when Summer went missing? Because they seem to be all over the damn place, but then no place at all, right?
yeah,
And all of these people know one
you got
another.
you got the same message I did when I asked Laura in a message, and I still have it. I asked her in a message, did you make it to the scrapyard? She said, yes. We
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just got. Why? Okay, fine. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just got a surprise. Dropped off to me. Would you guys like to see? And let me play with this a little bit. I just my brother just brought me a surprise. You guys want to see? Let's see if it's in there. Where's my knife? Oh, he's in here. Oh, he's in here. Oh, this'll be good. Yes, it was a lovely surprise for my brother. Thank you, sir. Let me figure out how to put it together. Yes, I know it's weird, but it's fine. Really? There we go. All right. Now, how? Oh, okay. So, I do not have. There is a piece missing. Um, yeah, there's one piece missing. It's all right. I'm not complaining. No complaints. It's all right. One piece is missing because this is supposed to clip onto something that sits it here. But it's fine. I'm not complaining. I will figure that. I will super glue that to the end of his fingers later. My brother also got me. Aw, shit. A brand new panda bear. We're gonna set him there. What else? Oh, roller. Hi. Figure out. I'll dig it. Holy fuck. I'd like to say thank you to my brother, Ericon. Thank you. He got me a new roller. I appreciate that, Ericon. Yeah. We don't use those. I can actually get over this and this. Hey. Yeah, I don't use these, but it's fine. I don't use cones. Not my style at all. But it's alright. This, I guess, is a cone holder. Whatever. I don't use them. But I'd like to say thank you to Ericon for hooking me up today. These are chokers the wife made, and I got a sword hanging here. I'd like to say thank you to Ericon for hooking a brother up today. You didn't have to. Much appreciated. Much love, my dude. I don't use cones, but it's fine. No complaints. I know somebody who does, so I'll just put those aside. Put them in the bag, actually. Put this in the bag with it. Thank you again, Ericon. My brother. Thank you. And his old lady. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Oh, shit. Something fell on the floor. It's a brush, mama. It's the brush for it. Cool beaners. So, the only thing that was missing out of the one thing was something that's easily fixed and replaced. It's fine. Let's see if I can't get a rig it. Get a rig it. Oh, that's a little short. Let's see. That would be a little short. So I'm going to try ghetto rigging it. Yes. So I'm going to play more of PD's bullshit here in a second. I'd like to say thank you very much to Ericon for giving me the hot bop and the boop beep bop boop doop and hooking a brother up. Much love, bro. Let's watch some more of this as I put together Piccolo.
We didn't have to bring the car back home.
Right. And then they said they didn't make it. And then Fred says they didn't even go. And then he says he's out on the road with some motorcycle and his trailer. You know, he's been all over the place. But you know what? It sounds like they might have been down in the hole digging to get that tote in there too, right? Because Fred and Laura had just pulled out right before Candace met up with Chad to pull out behind him. All of them might have went over there. All of them may have been over there.
And remember what Marlena said.
And listen, maybe Fred said that he was on the road loading up a motorcycle in case someone had saw his vehicle out there. Maybe he said that in case, because him and Laura may have parked out there and walked up onto the cemetery. And he figured if someone saw his vehicle, because you already got Chad's vehicle up there, you already got Candace's vehicle up there, maybe he parked down on the road you know, and walked up him and Laura, and he figured, I'm going to say we were doing a motorcycle if anybody happened to just see our vehicle down there on, you know, on Beach Creek Road, right? Hey, is that a possibility? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that's a possibility.
I don't.
Because I'm going to tell you, all these people seem to be scratching each other's backs.
Sure.
If you ask me.
And even Marlena, when you had her on your panel, she got mad at you and went over to this other channel. And you played it.
No, she didn't get...
I ain't been to Morris's
Marlena
cemetery.
didn't get mad at me. Marlena got in a feud with one of my mods. And she was being really freaking rude to not just my mod, but to my whole chat. She was like up on my panel trying to go sideways at the people who was helping her backside, you know, be able to move around and stay clear of, you know, the people who seemed to be keeping up with her at the time, wherever she went. And, you know.
And she had the nerve to go over on this other channel, and you played the clip. I haven't been to Morrison's cemetery since summer passed.
Right.
The 3 key words, since summer passed. And then she caught herself in a dumbfounded, like when I asked her about the basement. You don't know where, you let your daughter go up there on Ben Hill Road and don't know where your daughter sleeps.
She said that on my panel.
Yeah.
Not somebody else's. She went to another panel, but she said that on my panel.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the Morrison Cemetery.
She said that on my panel. The one I played, she said here.
Oh, was it
I
said
don't know
over
if she
here?
said it. I don't know if she said it somewhere else, but that was from here.
Well, she said it somewhere else too.
Well, probably so. She probably, you know.
And she tried to get that person to run her Cash App after she got off of your channel. She tried to get that same person to run her Cash App. And that person said, no, I ain't running nobody's Cash App.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. No, that particular person said that people could donate to her, but they wasn't going to be donating to Marlena. And she said she wasn't letting no damn suspect get any money, you know, no monies on her channel. But, you know, I don't consider Marlena really a suspect. I think Marlena was more of a victim to Chad Arnold and to Candace and to those people. Marlena ain't the smartest tool in the shed.
Neither are you.
And you know, the thing about Marlena's like, you know, the lights on but nobody's home type person.
Right.
And she's densed, you know, to say the least. She's densed. And the one thing I did, you know, take note of when I was, you know, watching and observing Marlena Crawford is that she is not, you know, she is not all with it because she's so, I believe that she's still, you know, addicted to illegal substances. Oh, yeah. But I also think that, you know, all the stuff she's done in her past has kind of, you know, destroyed who she, you know, her thinking and everything. And I think that, you know, she was being used and really abused by a lot of different people. What I'm saying is, Marlena don't know, she don't know no better than what these people are doing. What I'm saying is she just goes with the flow.
Yep,
Only thing you know, all she's thinking about is her next, you know, fix, if you ask me. That's my opinion.
Your opinion.
And
that's what
right. And I think
That's what I
happened,
got mad when she was on your panel because she was
well,
like,
you know, she's way far fetched, baby. That girl is way far fetched. And you know, but I'm going to tell you something, Pam. I had a really good friend, a really, really good girlfriend, and she was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, until she got into that stuff. And I watched that stuff take her down like a snowball in
Whatever you
Hades.
say, PG.
And I'm going to tell you something. My girlfriend ain't here anymore. She's not here anymore. And I've seen people use and abuse her the same way I felt that Marlena was being used and abused as well. And that's what these people do to girls like that. And, you know, and these girls, they don't even see it coming. They don't even see it coming because they're all hooked up on that stuff. And you know, it's just a mess. It's a real mess. And
It's a real mess.
and I think Marlena is in that mess. Personally, that's my opinion, where she's concerned. And I think Chad Arnold used her to, you know, to call Candace when he was down there at Fred's, because he didn't want his number going into Candace's phone. It would be better if Marlena's dead. And that's why she called to tell Candace that, you know, he's down there. And that's when Candace left the hill and went down, met up with him, and they left Ben Hill Road. That's when she left her phone on the truck at, you know, the property, but the camera down on the corner at that one house caught her and him going out.
Whatever you say.
So that's how they actually got busted. But, you know, it didn't work out the way they thought. They wasn't expecting, you know, trail cams to be handed over with that kind of footage on it. But the point is, as you know, I don't think Marlena really understood exactly what was going on, you know. I don't think she understood that, you know, that this was all, you know, pre-planned and pre-set up, and the ratifications of what
I agree,
they were really meeting up for.
Listen,
you know, I think she thought they was just meeting up for, you know, some stuff and you know, nothing big, nothing, you know, just meeting up for Candace to pick up, you know, a little this or that and whatever. I don't think she really grasped on to.
All right, I'm tired of listening to this bitch. I'm tired of listening to her. Real tired of it. So y'all listen, okay? This bitch is out her tweet, and I've been going. I'm an hour and 18 minutes past my allotted anyway. But that is what it ain't. I'd like to say thank you for Ericon for popping over today. Thank you, much appreciated, bruv. Thank you to your old lady as well. I appreciate you got me a new figurine. That is hot shit. Thank you. I will super glue his key blast onto his fingertips here in the coming days, and it will stay. Special beam cannon! Sorry. So, I would like to say thank you all. It is a beautiful Thursday morning, still, but I am done with this bitch running her mouth today. She makes my head hurt. My brain does hurt. I'm going to watch TV and chill out. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next. Later.